Welcome to the first episode of Beyond 2D. This is a series where I'm just going to talk about everything. Mainly talk about anime, maybe gaming, maybe life, and just overall anything I want to talk about, anything you guys want to talk about. The goal of this is just kind of have a longer form content. So like if you know me from TikTok, you know I rant a lot. There's a lot of videos where I just kind of talk shit, talk about life, talk about just random stuff I like, and I go on tangents, okay? And so imagine that just in longer form. This isn't going to be like any like visual podcast. Like this isn't like trash taste budget. So don't expect too much right away. And this isn't the final form of everything. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to show, what I want to do, what I want to talk about. I definitely want to have guests on and just interview them or like talk to them. Maybe have a VTuber on, maybe have other anime creators, just other creators, just friends. I don't know where it's going to go, but this is where we're starting from. So I think because I recently posted a video on TikTok asking you guys to ask me questions, and I saw a lot of questions kind of asking about who I am and like my anime origin story. So I think we might start there. And then I also found some anime news that we can go over because it's pretty exciting stuff. So first off, who am I? I'm a rig. I've wanted to make content for a long time, and I started I want to say May of 2022, I started making like a few YouTube videos and a few TikToks. Nothing big. I wasn't really confident in what I was making. I was making like mostly reviews / like ranking animes on TikTok. I had a series called Anime 365 where I was supposed to recommend an anime every day of the year. That only went up to episode 100. And YouTube, I mean, I liked the content I was making. I was making a lot of like analysis videos and stuff, but I just hated the editing. It was just so grueling, and I find a format like this where I can just talk shit a bit more appealing to myself, and also it's less editing for me. So yeah, that's who I am. People are asking how old I am. I mean, old enough. I don't know if I should say my real age, but you know, old enough. Okay, I can drink, and I'm from Canada, so that gives you a range. Okay, but yeah, so I posted the TikTok and people were asking me what my first anime was, how I got into anime, why I just got into anime. So my first anime, officially, the one I consider is Naruto, okay? But realistically, it's Pokemon. I started watching Pokemon when I was like really young. I used to get those like pirated DVDs from a place called Pacific Mall. It's like the largest counterfeit goods seller in all of North America. And I used to get these DVDs. They used to have like 3 episodes or 4 episodes of Pokemon, like Advanced Battle, like with May, and then with Dawn, like Diamond and Pearl stuff. And I also used to have the old VHS tapes of like the original like series, like Gen 1. And I used to watch that religiously. I think there was this one DVD of the May one where there's like May and Max. First off, I hated Max. I don't know why he was there. Anyways, if you guys know which gen I'm talking about, I think it's Gen 2 or Gen 3. I always get mixed up which is which. But it's this one with a Whiscash on the front. And I think they go through like a, not beauty pageant, but almost like Pokemon tournament with May, where she's like competing with her Pokemon, with her Torchic, who evolves into Combustion, or Combustion into Blaziken. I think it's Torchic into Combustion. And like they're facing this guy with like green hair, and he has like a Milotic and a Roselia. I think I watched that movie like 4 or 5 times. And I would say that's probably like my first real anime, but I didn't know what anime was when I watched that. My first real anime when I knew what anime was Naruto. And it's still probably my favorite show out there. I mean, I guess that's a bit biased since it was my first one. It was my entry into everything. But I would still consider it my first ever anime because it's really what got me into the medium. How I found out about it was, I guess this is exposing me. I have a brother, and he had a friend, or he has a friend, and he had like a tattoo of something. I found out that it's the Uzumaki logo, like the Naruto Uzumaki, like his emblem thing, like the insignia, you know which one, like the circle. And he got a tattoo of that. He also had like a few other tattoos of like One Piece and stuff, but like One Piece is kind of shit. But he told me like, oh, it's Naruto and everything, and he was talking about like how Naruto is so amazing and everything. And so I decided one summer night back in 2015, I was in high school, and I'm like, oh, I have nothing better to do. Let me YouTube Naruto, because I didn't know where the hell I was going to watch this from, because I didn't know about Crunchyroll, I didn't know about Funimation, I didn't even know about pirated sites. Well, I knew some pirated sites, but I didn't think they had anime on it. So I basically just YouTube Naruto episode 1 because I didn't know if it was seasons. I didn't know how anime worked at all. And so I went up to episode 1 and I watched it. I think it was in like 3 parts, and it was like cropped in a way where like half the screen was like cut off almost, and it was like super bad quality, super bad audio. But I think I watched like 3 or 4 episodes like that, all like cut up into like different parts, and I was enjoying it for what it was. Now I couldn't go back. I could not go back and rewatch the start of Naruto or basically any old shonen because it's just so slow. But yeah, so I watched the starting of Naruto and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. And through that, I kind of like looked up different sites you could watch on. So my first one was, I think it was called like Cartoon Crazy. I don't know if it's still running right now, but that's where I started watching a lot of Naruto. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I think my second anime ever, I want to say either Sword Art Online or Clanad. It was one of those two. I think it was Sword Art Online, because why would I watch Clanad second? I think it was Sword Art Online. And I watched it, and I mean, of course, I was a freaking teenager, and it's Sword Art Online. Of course, I'm going to love it and adore it and want to, like, be Kirito, okay? I am Kirito. I basically am Kirito. I was Kirito. And I guess maybe, I'm just realizing now, I think I know why Asuna is my waifu. Because Sword Art Online was like my first, anyways, that's for a different day. Talking about my favorite waifus. And I also got questions about that, but yeah, so I watched Sword Art Online and I loved it because, of course, who wouldn't love like an overpowered main character playing a video game? And I remember I was obsessed for years looking for like a game that was like exactly like Sword Art Online. I was like looking into like the technology of like VR and how realistic full dive VR would be, and how some people have achieved it using like one of those treadmill things and like VR, but it was really jank. And like I see now TikToks of people having made better versions of that, but it's still like, of course, nowhere close to full dive, because I mean, it shows you that they can just kill you with microwaves. So, I mean, I guess that's spoiler for Sword Art Online, but if you don't know what's happening in Sword Art Online, then I don't think you'd be watching this. And then I think the next anime was Clanad, and that got me into romance, and it also freaking crushed me, okay? Clanad is one of the saddest anime I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's without a doubt, and it's just so good, though. But I don't think I could rewatch season 1. Season 1 is super slow. So if you want to get into Clanad, be prepared for one whole season of almost nothing happening, and then another full season of just being depressed. Just absolutely on the floor depressed. Like nothing's going right in life. Nothing's going to ever get better. You're never going to be happy. That shit was so sad and so depressing. I loved it. I freaking loved it. And I loved depressing shows since that day. And then the end of Clanad, of course, it crushed me. It destroyed me. I had no idea it was coming. And then they kind of did like psych, it never happened. But I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler there. It was still amazing. It was my first romance, and probably still up to this day one of my favorite romances, aside from Horimiya. But that's a toss-up. It's a real toss-up. They're definitely both top 3 out there. And then yeah, I got into like other shows. I think I watched like Haruhi, but I didn't really like Haruhi. I guess I should probably rewatch it because a lot of people love Haruhi, and I only watched it when I was like still like super new to anime, and I didn't really understand it. I didn't really know what was happening. And I think I did watch The Disappearance, which is the movie, and I was super confused about what the hell was happening. Yeah, I should probably go back and rewatch it. But see, the issue is I'm not a big fan of like older anime like that, where they're like it's some shitty animation, or like the art style isn't as clean, the line art isn't as clean. Like if every anime could look like newer anime now, but have like the plot of older anime, I think it'd be the greatest thing ever. Like imagine like the art styles of like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, or even Attack on Titan. Imagine that, but with the stories of like Death Note, Code Geass, Evangelion, all like the classics. But I mean, I have my own explanation. Well, not really explanation, but my own things about old anime and new anime. I have some strong opinions, some hot takes on those subject matters, which, I mean, if you've seen my TikToks, you should know some of those hot takes. But aside from that, I mean, anime just became a super big part in my life. I was going through a lot of stuff back then, and just having a medium to just watch and just get engulfed in, get absorbed into, was just really helpful for me. And it kind of just progressed from there. I got super into like everything of like weeb culture. I became like your standard weeaboo. I was like, oh, I want to learn Japanese. I want to go live in Japan. I want to date an anime girl. I want to date, short, small tsundere with big titties and stuff. But I've definitely grown up past that to a degree. I still really want to go to Japan. But that's like for actual like Japanese culture, not because I want to live out my weeaboo life. But that's a story for a different day, I think. And so anime just really helped me explore everything. And I believe anime is one of the greatest mediums ever, but people are just so stupid and they're like, oh, I don't want to watch children's cartoons. And it's just, it gets me upset when people use that argument where they say, oh, it's cartoons, it's so childish, like how could you like cartoons, when like some of the subject matter of anime is just so beyond what we see on regular TV, because you could only ever achieve it with animation and like fake people and everything. So I don't know, I hate the argument. So that's kind of how I got started with like anime and everything. Like those are like my first few I watched. So it was like Naruto, Sword Art Online, Clannad, Haruhi, and I think there was one more, but I don't really remember it. And then also I tried watching the other big three, okay? Like before I started shit talking One Piece or Shit Piece and Bleach, I tried watching them, okay? But they were just so like, I don't know if they started like before Naruto, but they just look so much worse than Naruto. Like especially Bleach, it was just so dark and just, it was so dirty. But like dirty, I mean like the line art was dirty and the animation was just so unsmooth. The audio, I don't know what it is, but when an anime has like super shitty audio, I mean I did watch the dub, but like when it has super shitty audio, like it just turns me off of everything. And then the same with One Piece. One Piece I watched, okay? I will tell you, I watched One Piece, I think I watched 40 episodes or 30. Essentially to the end of like the first major arc, like the first major villain, the guy with like the cat claws or whatever, with the girl on the island and they recruit Usopp, I think it was. I watched up until then, okay? And it was still shit. It was so boring. I watched it at 1.5 times speed and it still felt way too slow. And I mean, okay, granted, that's all old Shonen. I bet you if I went back to watch old Naruto, it would be like that. And the only reason why I would be able to get through Naruto is because I love it so much. And like, I'm like, oh, these are great scenes and everything. Like the Zabuza fight, that shit went on forever. But it was still such an amazing fight. And I have rewatched Naruto. Especially, I think I've rewatched all of Naruto twice. So that's like 1,400 episodes. And then I've rewatched like arcs. Like I've rewatched the Pain arc a bunch of times. I've rewatched the end of the War arc. I've rewatched scenes like all the different Naruto versus Sasuke fights. I've watched like the Pain fight. I've watched the Jiraiya scene. I'm not going to spoil what happens. I've watched the Jiraiya scene. The Pain arc is probably one of the better arcs. Going on a complete tangent, the Pain arc is probably, I mean, I don't think that's a hot take saying that the Pain arc is my favorite arc in Naruto. I mean, if you think otherwise, let me know. But I mean, I don't think it's a hot take to say that Pain is one of the greatest villains. Same with Madara. Madara, oh, I'm just an Uchiha simp. Okay, every Uchiha I freaking love. Shisui, we don't know anything about Shisui, but I love that guy. Itachi, awesome. Sasuke, probably one of my favorite anime characters ever. Madara, awesome, one of my favorite anime characters ever, except Sarada. Sarada kind of sucks, but I mean that makes sense. She's half Sakura's blood. But yeah, that's my rant about Naruto. I tried, okay, I did try One Piece, I did try Bleach, and I just couldn't get into them. And then from there, I started watching just like everything. I watched like 4 shows a day. I would sit downstairs in my basement, okay? So let me paint the picture for you. It's the summer between grade 9 and grade 10. If you watch my first ever YouTube video, I explained this to a degree, but I'll go in greater detail here, okay? I know you probably don't care, but here you go. I'll paint the picture. It's the summer between grade 9 and grade 10. I was like, what, 14? Maybe? I don't know. And I'm sitting there. And I started watching anime. And this would be my day, okay? I took a summer school course, but I mean, it's high school, summer school. It's not that difficult. And so I'd wake up, okay? I'd wake up at 7:30. I'd walk my dog. And then I would do my homework. I think it was like a history class. So I'd do my history homework. I'd do my assignments that they wanted me to do for the day or for the week. I'd get them all done in the morning. And then it's 11 o'clock. I would heat up some Hot Pockets. And then I would sit there with a cup of coffee and Hot Pockets at 11 o'clock. And I would watch anime from 11 to 2:30. Okay? So that's a good 3.5 hours. And then I'd walk my dog again. And then I would sit there and watch anime from whenever I got back from walking my dog. And so that would be like 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And then I'd have dinner. And then from 6 o'clock till 2 a.m., I'm watching anime again. So that's watching Naruto, watching every shitty isekai or fan servicey show. And okay, on the topic of fan service, High School DxD, top tier. Okay, I think it was one of my first really, really ecchi shows. Definitely one of the first that actually showed stuff. Okay, all the other ones were like ecchi, like, oh, panty shot, oh my god, I flew up in the air and you saw my panties, oh my god, and oh my god, I have a bra and don't look at me, stuff like that. But like DxD was the first one that actually showed a lot, and it shows a lot. If you want a super ecchi show, watch High School DxD. And so what I would do is, I explained it in one of my TikTok videos. I keep referencing my TikTok because that's where like most of my followers are. And so if you're from there, thank you so much. If you're from YouTube, I mean, go follow me on TikTok, and vice versa. Whoever's watching me from TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, please, please. Anyways, I would watch DxD at night when everybody was asleep, and I would watch like Naruto and every other like PG show during the day, because like I used to share, like my brother used to be in my basement, like my family would come downstairs every once in a while, so like I can't have my family walking in on me when I'm watching High School DxD. You know what they would say to me? Even nowadays, if they saw that, I would never be able to live it down. It'd be told at every family function ever. Nah, that shit's too embarrassing. So what I would do is I would have like 3 or 4 tabs open on my computer at all times. This is back in the day when I had like an older PC, and like I would never turn that off. I think that thing was on for like 3 months straight. It would just go into sleep mode when I would go to bed, and then I would just wake it up in the morning. So I would have like a Google tab open, basically looking up different anime. I'd have a YouTube tab open, looking at like glass reflection reviews, or like any other like top 10 action shows where the main character's overpowered. And then I'd have one tab open with my ecchi show. So a lot of the time it was High School DxD, or like, let's say Absolute Duo, or maybe, I don't know, what's another super popular ecchi show? Maybe To Love Ru. Whatever I was watching at the time, whatever ecchi show I was watching. And then I would have another tab where it had like the main show I would watch when everybody would be awake. So that would be Naruto for a long period of time, like Sword Art Online. But even Sword Art Online, man, some of those scenes are messed up. Well, not, I mean, that's not the reason. They're just weird, okay? Like, after Aincrad, the show just kind of got bad and kind of got weird. It was definitely, it's hard to say about Sword Art Online, because a lot of people love to clown on it, and rightfully so. It is just shit. Like a lot of it is just objectively pretty bad. But then like that first arc, it gives you that childish feeling where you're like, oh my god, this guy's so badass. And I guess that's the appeal of a lot of these, like, not fan servicey, like a lot of these power fantasy shows. That's the appeal, where they're just like, oh my god, like, you're so strong, like, it's so cool, like, everybody wants to be Kirito. Like, having a skill that no one else has, first off, in game balance, that's awful. That would never work out. And I used to watch like YouTube videos about why Sword Art Online would be a shitty real life game. And that's one of the reasons where, like, if you gave people just overpowered abilities that only they could have, that'd be so shit. Like, imagine you're going against someone and you get some like shitty single ability where it's like, you can cook food 20% faster. But then like you'd go against someone who's just like, yeah, I can just dual wield 2 swords. And it's just like, it's so broken. Like, everybody has that dream where they are that broken character. And I guess that's the appeal of power fantasy. Because I love me some power fantasy shows, okay? I think that's probably, well, not like OP main, I guess all OP main characters is power fantasy. I guess but not all power fantasy is OP main character, because I guess you can have OP side characters and it could be a power fantasy. But like, I guess that's the appeal of those, where it's just, you can self-insert, but like, not self-insert to the way where it's weird. Like, you're like, oh my god, I'm that strong. Nowadays, it's almost like, the power fantasy are just super easy to watch, because the characters are just like, I guess it's really predictable. And to some degree, that makes it easy to watch nowadays, because I can just freaking consume it and just not stop. And it's like, it gets annoying, it gets predictable. They're all the same, but I mean, it's fun. But yeah, so Sword Art Online would be a shitty game. That's one point. I totally forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah, my 4 Chrome tabs, those would be open at all times on my computer. Those 4 tabs of the Google, the YouTube, Ecchi Show, and Real Show. And that's what I would do for months. And then school started, and then I had to watch less. Like when summer ended and school started, I would watch less, obviously, because I'd go to school. But I'd still like basically just watch anime every free moment I had. And then I slowed down a lot because, I don't know, I didn't grow up, but like I got busy with other stuff, with life, with relationships, with university. And I guess that's just kind of natural, and like the progression of someone who likes anime is they just kind of slow down. They go through a period at the start where they watch everything, and I mean everything. I watched the most random shows, the most obscure, like I don't remember like 90% of the shows I've seen, because it was just during that time where I just watched everything. If a show was recommended to me, I watched it. I didn't care. And back then I didn't really know about like an anime list, like a Mal, like my anime list. I didn't know about that. So like I couldn't keep track. I probably wouldn't have, because that's like kind of boring. But I tried to go back and like I tried to go back a few years after I started watching anime, like a few years ago at this point, like maybe 3-4 years ago. I tried going back and I tried going through all of like Mal, like selecting all these shows I've watched, and I'd be scrolling through the Mal list and I'd be like, oh shit, I did watch this show. Oh, I remember this show. And I would just go through and I'm like, it was just, I watched so much shit. And I guess that's what everybody does when they first get into anime. You're like, oh my god, this medium is so amazing. All these shows are all so good. And you kind of realize, man, most of these shows I'm watching kind of shit, honestly. And that's kind of like the period I went through, where I would just like watch maybe one show a week, like one show, and then maybe like 2 episodes a week. And it really dropped down there to there'd be periods where like maybe a week or 2 would go by and I wouldn't watch any anime. But then kind of picked up. Now I'm just watching like everything that comes out. I think every dub show that comes out, I'm watching right now. Sub, I mean, I only watch sub when it's like a really good show. Like I'm caught up to Jujutsu Kaisen in the sub because it was just so good. And like the dub episode ended on such a cliffhanger. It was the big Gojo fight in season 2. Man, that fight was incredible. But yeah, I only watch sub when it's like a really good show. But I'm watching everything now. And even then, like I'm still showing like, I'm showing people like random shows I have watched. I've rewatched some shows, and it's just, I've gotten back to the stage where I just love anime. I don't know if like this is normal for other people, but like I went through stages, right? So I had the first stage where I got into it. I was like, okay, this is a bit weird, but I'm going to start getting into it. And then I watched everything, then I watched nothing, and now I'm watching everything again. I don't know if other people have gotten back into that stage. A lot of people stop watching a lot of shows, but this is the stage I'm at now. And honestly, I'm having more fun than I've ever had. Watching all these shows, it's just like, a lot of them are brain dead, okay? I'm going to be honest. A lot of these shows are just brain dead shows where I can just watch and not pay attention to. Like right now, there's this show airing called like Seven Sword Sorcerers. I don't know what it's called. But it's honestly really bad. I was watching it last night, the newest episode that aired, and I was sitting there 4 episodes in, and I'm like, what has happened in this show? I didn't know any of the characters' names. Like none of them stick to memory. I didn't know the plot of the show. Like they were in a magic school and they have swords. That's all I knew. And they're like, the one girl is a samurai who killed people, and the other guy is like strong, but he doesn't want to show that he's strong. But I was just watching and I'm like, none of this is appealing to me, but I'm still just watching it because it looked pretty, I guess, in a way. It looked good enough. And I guess that's where anime is in the state right now, where anime is just too good almost, or too tolerable, or too consumable, where you can just watch it and just like not remember any of it and just watch and nothing bad happens. Like you don't get bored. Well, you can get bored, but like you can just sit there and watch anime and consume it because nothing's too jarring. And the voice acting is still good, the animation is still good, and the story is just meh. But if it's pretty enough, like if Shonen, okay, I know I go on a lot of tangents here already, and I'm just blurting out words, but I hope you're still listening, okay? Let me go on a quick rant about Shonen. Sorry, I just had to get a drink of water there, talking too much. So Shonen is just, it proves that just because it looks pretty, it can be popular. Nothing else about the show has to be like god tier, except the animation and character design seem to be pretty. Like, look at Demon Slayer, okay? Now, up until episode 19 of Demon Slayer, nobody talked about it. Episode 19 or 18 hit, where they had that one cool animation, everybody's talking about Demon Slayer. It blew up. But realistically, nothing happened in the show. Literally nothing was going on. And then all of a sudden, everybody was talking about Demon Slayer. And then the movie came out, and everybody was hyping up the movie. Oh my god, it's the greatest anime movie ever. Like, it sold out in box offices. It did better than every other movie ever. It did better than Your Name. And people are trying to say that Mugen Train is better than Your Name. And I'm like, you're on drugs. You must be. Because there's no way you can argue that Mugen Train is better than Your Name. Your Name was so good. It had its own story. It was its own thing. Mugen Train was coming off of a 24-episode season. People already knew the show before going into the movie. And, like, it was pretty, okay? The final fight scene is the only thing I remember from that movie. And that's only, like, the last, like, 2 episodes. Like, the last, like, 40 minutes is that final fight scene. That's all I remember. It was sad. It was a cool fight scene. It was pretty. That's it. The story, I don't freaking know what happened. And then season 2 happened. Season 2 of Demon Slayer was pretty good, okay? All the characters were likable. The villains were likable / hateable. Like, I mean, I guess you could say if you hate the villain, then they're a good villain because they made you hate them. At least you feel something towards them. Tengen was an amazing Hashira. And then everyone was in there. Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro, and Nezuko. They're all in there. And it was an enjoyable season. The opening was amazing. The fights were amazing. But people don't realize that, again, nothing is happening in the show. It's so repeatable. And I guess that's all shown in these days. But Demon Slayer is literally, they train, they get a job, they go fight, somebody dies or gets super injured, but they beat a strong villain. And then they go train, and then they go fight a big battle, someone almost dies or gets really injured, and then they beat the big villain. That's literally what's happened every single season. Every single season is a new Hashira with a new upper 6 now. It's just so it's the most basic story ever. And sure, you can say that the anime is enjoyable, you can say that it's good, but you can't say, like, the story is complex in any way. You can't say it's objectively a good show. You can enjoy, you can think it's good in your mind. Like, I don't think you could argue that it's objectively a good show because it's has nothing. It's just pretty. And the story is just super basic. And I'm not saying that basic shows can't be good, but as long as it's pretty, as long as it looks good, as long as it's fluid, and Ufotable absolutely killed it, then, like, people will watch it and people will love it. Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1, it was pretty mid aside from Gojo, but people loved it. And then it's slowly gotten better and better, and I'm getting into being a fan of it. Same with Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man had Makima, and it looked pretty incredible. Other than that, it's kind of just weird. It was just a weird show. Hell's Paradise, out of all those newer shonen, is the only one that actually has, like, some content in it. Like, it's actually, like, interesting. And even then, we only got 12 episodes, and I don't even know if we're going to get a season 2. And nobody ever talked about Hell's Paradise, which is an absolute crime. But people love their pretty animation. That's really it about that. But anyways, going off of shonen, my shonen rant, okay? I could talk for hours about shonen and new fans and how they shouldn't get into shonen. But I think we're going to end that section there. And that's really my story of how I got into anime. I just started watching a bunch, and that's really it. Let me know how you guys got into anime down below in the comments if you want. If you're still listening, I really hope you're still listening. And I found a few news, or a little bit of news, about anime coming out, and I just want to go over it. So, first up, Goblin Slayer Season 2 is coming out in October at the end of this year. Do you guys remember Goblin Slayer? The most infamous first episode, first, like, 5 minutes of an anime, like, ever. It's getting a Season 2. And yet, No Game No Life, and all these other amazing shows aren't getting a Season 2. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. But I mean, I think a lot of people love the show. I got a bit bored of it. I think I watched a few episodes and I kind of gave up. I just wanted to watch it because of that first episode. Like, not because I wanted to see that, but I just wanted to see what was happening in the first episode. And that's that. It's not that exciting, but I think a lot of people did like it. Next up, we got the Kaiju number 8 anime is scheduled for April of 2024. Now, I personally have never read Kaiju number 8, but I hear a lot of people really love it. All I hear is good things about it. I looked up a synopsis of what it is. It's essentially about this guy who turns into a kaiju, but a lot of people don't know, and then he has to use that power to fight other kaijus, and he's trying to like save his best friend or something like that. I've heard a lot of really good things about the manga, and I might check out the manga. But I know a lot of people are excited for this anime. I really hope it doesn't kill the manga. It's like the only manga I've actually read is Attack on Titan, and even then I only just read like the last few chapters because I wanted to know what happens, because after finishing that last part and the last season and the last thing, like season 4 final season part 2.5, after finishing that I need to know what happened, and I saw that there were only like 4 chapters left, so I just read it all and I know what happens at the ending now. I mean, I don't really enjoy reading manga that much because, I mean, reading sucks, and like I don't like reading on a screen. I don't want to buy physical copies because like it's a lot of money. But anyways, I can go about manga a different day. Final news, okay? Please, okay, are you ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this news. Fate, Khalid, Heliosphere, Prismarine, whatever, is getting a movie or getting a new show or something. Oh my god. Do you guys know what this is, okay? Are you ready for this? It's Fate. So you know Fate, right? Ufotable, you know, like Archer, all those like summoning servants and like waifus and all that. That with lesbian lolly girls kissing. Okay? Let me let you sit on that. It's Fate with lesbian lolly girls kissing. Come on. Come on. It's lesbian lolly girls kissing. It's top tier quality. It's almost as good as Citrus, okay? I'm going to say it. It's almost as good as Citrus. But that's getting a movie. And it just shows that Fate fans just want everything. Fate fans want all the content they can possibly get, and they will consume all the content they get. But, I mean, I guess I'm considered a Fate fan because Fate is incredible. Probably one of the best series out there. I mean, it's so vast. Have you ever seen how much Fate there is? I have a video on my channel, my YouTube channel, about Fate, which you should go check out. And there's just so much Fate. There's so much. There's so many series that are on different timelines, and there's so many games, so many light novels, so many visual novels. There's just so much content. Like, if you think One Piece has a lot of content, imagine trying to watch, read, play through, and just know all the story of Fate. I think that would take longer than catching up on One Piece, honestly. But I'd much rather do that than catch up on One Piece, because One Piece is ass. But, yeah, that's it. I mean, I kind of just ranted here for who knows how long, like 20 minutes, and I don't know, I think that's what I'm going to plan to do further on. Let me know how you guys want me to change this up. I mean, I want to have people on to interact with, because the rest is just me sitting here crying about something or just complaining about something, which, I mean, if you like that, you like that. And I appreciate you. If you're listening to it right now, like if you're still listening, I love you, okay? I love you so much. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for everyone who voted on the title. I really appreciate you. And thank you for everybody who's subscribing. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I want this show, this podcast, this series just to be something you put on in the background and just listen to while you're doing homework, while you're gaming, while you're doing whatever. Similar to like Trash Taste, okay? Like, I'm not going to lie, that's where I got a lot of inspiration to do this from, is I want to be like Trash Taste, but like I don't have the budget to make a set like that, and I don't have 2 content creator friends that can join me in this. So that's why I kind of want to focus a lot on getting guests and talking to them. Because once you know me, you know me. I mean, I can't keep this going on for 1,000 episodes of just talking about me and only me sitting here talking. So I want to get guests on who are in the anime sphere, who are in the gaming sphere, and talk to them and almost interview them, but also just have a conversation and just show you guys different aspects or different point of views of this sphere, and just kind of proving that just anime can just bring everyone together. I mean, I'm ranting again. But I just want to thank you guys so much, so much for listening here on me just absolutely blabbering on for 20 minutes. I really appreciate you. If you want, leave a like, leave a comment telling me what I can do better, and please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next one.